Hollywood elites have been trying their best to ban Sound of Freedom to stop the truth about their evil doings from coming out, and now they've finally done it. But there's one person who is not happy about all of this, and he's not going to sit down and let Hollywood do all this. We're talking about Denzel Washington, who's calling the Hollywood elites out for what they've been doing for years, and he is not holding back. In a recent interview, the esteemed actor opened up about how he felt about the blockbuster Sound of Freedom and decided to expose the Hollywood elites for their wrongdoings. Welcome back to Celebrity Circle. In today's video, we are going to talk about what actor Denzel Washington had to say about the Hollywood elites for their treatment of Sound of Freedom. But before we get into the video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on our future uploads.
It's like people say, oh, the difficulty of making a movie. I'm like, send your son to Iraq. That's difficult. It's just a movie. It's like, relax.
In a recent interview that Washington did, he decided to spill the beans and talk about how some big actors and people in power in Hollywood twist the narrative. He talked about how these people pretend to be doing some sort of godly word by making movies. Denzel said that these kinds of people act like they're better than everyone else and say that making movies is really hard work. But in reality, making movies is a privilege, not a struggle. He also added saying that things like being a garbage man is hard, sending your kid to war is hard, but making movies, that's not half as hard as these people say. But that's not all. The esteemed actor decided to go on and expose the industry for what it is.
I like being the garbage man better. But they weren't bad jobs. It's like, people say, oh, the difficulty of making a movie. I'm like, send your son to Iraq. That's difficult.
He also called these big actors, producers, and directors out for their lack of touch with reality. He said that there should be a difference between pushing an agenda and entertainment. Movies are supposed to be entertaining. Having a good message is one thing, but pushing the same sort of agenda over and over again gets repetitive. And that's exactly why people are now getting sick of Hollywood's tactics. This is also the reason why every movie that Hollywood puts out has the same sort of tone, and there's nothing new. And it's also the reason why Hollywood elites are so against movies like The Sound of Freedom. It's because movies like The Sound of Freedom speak the truth. Not only that, but they expose the big, powerful people in Hollywood and don't push their agenda. This is something the elites don't like.
What a responsibility you all have to tell the truth. Not just to be first.
Speaking of The Sound of Freedom, let's talk about that for a hot second. The movie was finished around 5 years ago, and it belonged to Disney. But the movie was never really released, and even Disney sold it to a different studio. Even after the movie got released, it faced a lot of backlash from the industry. Mel Gibson has been on the front line when it comes to promoting the movie, and that's exactly why he's facing so much criticism from everyone. The minions of the Hollywood elites are busy posting articles and spreading false news about the actor, calling him a conspiracy theorist and whatnot. Also that people don't go and watch a movie that speaks about the truth. Now you might be wondering, what is it about this movie that the Hollywood elites are so against it? Well, for those of you who haven't watched the movie yet, it talks about the very scary and real issue of the illegal human trade. Not only that, it also talks about child trafficking. Now both of those are real issues that need to be talked about. Then why is Hollywood so against the movie being popular? Well, there are a few reasons, but the biggest one is that the movie doesn't push their agenda. And you know what we are talking about here. Now before we tell you about all the other reasons and what else Denzel Washington said, share this video with a friend who might enjoy our content and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already.
We're Homeland Security. We can't go off rescuing Honduran kids in Colombia.
This job tears you to pieces.
Denzel Washington has never been scared to speak his mind as an actor. He's widely loved by many for this exact reason. Another thing that makes him so special to fans is the fact that he's humble, down to earth, and doesn't act like he's better than everyone else, the way these Hollywood elites do. He's always indulged in philanthropic work, especially involving children. So that's exactly why he's being so vocal about The Sound of Freedom. It's because it is a movie that talks about such an important issue that is rarely talked about in the industry. But why is that the case? Why such an important issue is always brushed off? Well, it's because it's uncomfortable to talk about. And secondly, if people start talking about such important and scary topics, they're going to start talking about other suspicious things in the industry, and soon enough, the elites would be exposed. It's like a Pandora's box, and the elites are doing their best to keep it closed. But this time, it might not work because Denzel Washington is in full support of the movie. And along with the efforts of Mel Gibson, the movie is getting the recognition it deserves. As a matter of fact, it has already gotten the same rankings as the newest Mission Impossible movie. And that's a big win, won't you agree?
One of the most disturbing problems in our world today is human trafficking, and particularly the trafficking of children. Now, the first step in eradicating this crime is awareness.
Now there's another reason why Denzel is so supportive of this cause. Not only does he deeply care about the protection of children, but he's been a victim of Hollywood's evil agenda himself. Yes, that's right. In an interview, the actor revealed something that happened to him in the early years of his career that made him completely change his perspective on how the industry is. He said that back in 1986, when he was relatively new to the business, he was offered a very high-paying role in a movie, but he ended up rejecting the role despite being offered a lot of money for it. Why? Well, we'll let you decide that after we tell you what the movie was actually about.
I got a part in a movie in 1986. I called it The Nigga They Couldn't Kill.
The movie was about a black man who sexually assaults a white woman and is almost hanged and electrocuted. The people casting for the role had a very unprofessional behavior, and he mentioned how they dealt with the topic like it was some sort of twisted joke to them. This is when he realized that behind all the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, there was a much more sinister and evil community of people who controlled everything, and that includes controlling what people see and talk about. This is exactly why Denzel is speaking up against the Hollywood elites and in favor of this movie, because he knows that this is something that the people deserve to see.
What do you make of all the fake news and it affects
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed.
Talking bad about the movie, calling Mel Gibson a conspiracy theorist, and spreading false news aside, now the elites are trying to get the movie banned altogether. After stalling its release for over 5 years, they can see the danger this movie poses for them, and they're trying to take action against it. Especially considering how well the movie is doing and how everyone is now talking about these issues. The elites are finally getting exposed, and they are not happy. But despite all their attempts to stop this message from spreading, they're failing, all thanks to the efforts of actors like Mel Gibson and Denzel Washington. It's only a matter of time before other actors join in and offer their support to this cause.
Those who can do. Those who can't, talk about those who can.
And that was all we had time for in today's video. Have you watched the movie yet? If you did, what did you think about it? Let us know all your thoughts down in the comment section. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and hit that subscribe button for more videos like these in the future. With all that said, as always, we will see you in our next video.